again, it's something that that's in your 100% control. So you want to continue to reach out to people, set a goal for yourself, a daily, weekly goal of just having conversations with different people, adding new people into your database, whatever it is. But it's just that connection piece that's so important, because when we're slow, we typically just draw back and don't do that, which is really strange, but it's just kind of the way I guess we all like to work. But that should be your priority when you start your day, is to make a goal to make sure you're at least having a few conversations every single day.
Hello, hello. It is
Hello.
level up time. And you're laughing.
I didn't know if you caught that. I didn't know if you caught that. Oh, I don't know what I said at the very
I don't know.
right before you pressed record. I'm like,
nope. It's one of those, the voice testing. That's what we do. Like, it's our voice. What is it? Voice. When people are about to act, they like do weird things with their voices. We just saw Wolf of Wall Street on the weekend, and they had that like pounding the chest. And,
that was a seriously weird movie.
You didn't expect that to go where it was. I didn't expect it to go where it was. I can't believe we haven't seen it. Kind of salespeople are we?
Well, I mean,
not that it's the book.
There wasn't like I kind of expected more salesy stuff. It wasn't really that.
I guess, yeah. In 3 hours of a movie, like I guess they've already extracted all the key sales scenes that we've seen like prior to that. So that was just what they left out, was the gratuitous sex for the other 2 hours and 45 minutes. But yeah, I don't think that's a spoiler alert. We probably were the last people remaining who hadn't seen that movie. But hey, it wasn't a bad movie.
Oh, it wasn't bad. It was just like, whoa, you had to be prepared for that. There was a lot of stuff going on there. Anyway.
There's a lot of stuff.
We're gonna have a lot of stuff going on too in this podcast. So there you go. Not that kind of stuff, but
well played. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that is a weird segue into what we're talking about today, I guess, which is how people are going to be using the foreseeable next little bit. If I don't want to be presumptuous and say that people are struggling in their businesses, because I'm sure everyone out there is kicking ass. That being said, it is a tougher market out there now in light of the economic climate and just what we're seeing en masse going on. And with that, a lot of what we are getting asked and talking to our agents about is the best use of your time and what it is that you can be doing if you're not imminently working with oodles of clients. How are we filling the rest of that time and being efficient and effective in the meantime, or at least in the right now, while the market is not behaving and allowing us to be drowning in client demand. And for those of you who are, I'm sure there's still a little bit of downtime. This is really the downtime episode. Spoiler alert, there's no such thing as downtime. There shouldn't be.
Well, it's taking advantage of this opportunity, because I think if you've been in this business long enough, you recognize that there's definitely ebbs and flows to your business. It has its ups, it has its downs. It seems, at least from my perspective, when you're busy, you're really busy. And when you're slow, you're pretty slow. Like, it's never a constant wave of people coming in and out. So you got to learn how to deal with that, but you got to learn to recognize the opportunities that exist when perhaps you are a little bit slower.
Well, and I think one reason, and maybe this is a little too spiritual, maybe that's not the right word, but the whole, when you're busy, you're really busy, and when you're not, you're really not. I do feel like we feed that, and our attitude impacts what's happening around us. And when things are going well, I think our positivity and our hustle and all that stuff amps up to keep up. But that also attracts more of what we're looking for, because it is just like what we're talking about with the amount we put into our business. When you're active and you're putting it out there, good things happen. And generally, we tend to be more positive in doing that when things are already going well. And so this is hopefully this is hopefully a little bit of a talk about how to keep doing that and what to keep doing it on if it's not just having clients right now.
Yeah, and when you say that, also like on the flip side, when you are slow, I find a lot of people gravitate to other people in the business that are slow as well to make them feel better, you know? So you're absolutely right. I think whatever like ebb or flow that you're in currently, you kind of look around you to
Find
other
other
people
ebbs.
to make you feel, yeah, to kind of go the same direction. So that's a good point.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't, even though we didn't open with it. Another shameless ask to everybody. Listen, we're about to drop some science on you right now. And if you like that, we're like 190 something episodes in. There's a lot of this. A lot of what we're going to talk about today is in past episodes. Go back, have a listen, subscribe if you haven't yet. That is
and rate
all.
us.
And rate us. Right. I don't know. That just reminded me of something. I'm not even going to repeat what it reminded me of. When I think of the word rating, it reminds me of something that's funny, but I won't go there. Anyway, people out there won't know what I'm thinking about. Yeah, I just got an eye roll there. All right, moving on. Um, yeah, so where do we want to start? I mean, there's a lot of different things that I can think of, but
Mhm.
you were about to say something. So hit me.
Well, I think first and foremost, it's about keep continuing with activity conversations. And I know we say this all the time, but really that's where you start. And that's again, it's something that that's in your 100% control. So you want to continue to reach out to people, set a goal for yourself, a daily, weekly goal of just having conversations with different people, adding new people into your database, whatever it is. But it's just that connection piece that's so important because when we're slow, we typically just draw back and don't do that, which is really strange, but it's just kind of the way I guess we all like to work. But that is should be your priority when you start your day is to make a goal to make sure you're at least having a few conversations every single day.
Keep your brain working. Like everything we're going to talk about is about not just going flatline on yourself because that's a super easy thing to do. I do it when I have downtime. I find myself just zoning out or doing something that is as mindless as is humanly possible, which is still sometimes healthy. I think you need a little bit of time to just
Yeah.
recharge. But if you're just recharging from nothing, and you're just feeding nothing with nothing, then 0 plus 0 equals 0, last I checked, right? And we're trying to move things forward. I don't think, and we've talked about this before, that the world, even when the market or whatever you want to call it shifts or things are happening or more people are making phone calls, they're making calls and they're calling out to the people who have remained active. They're not
Mm,
all of a sudden going to reach out and say, "Hey, sorry I disappeared for 6 months, but I'm back and I want to sell a house with you." Right?
mhm,
They're going to be maybe the people you would have had 6 months ago had you stayed consistent, but now other people have been reaching out to them and developing relationships where you can control where you are in the rat race going
mhm,
forward. Um, I think that ties into also just the overall, if you are in a position now where things are not moving for you and you don't know what to be doing, to me, that says you don't have a plan also, right? Most of the planning we talk about is not about just working with clients. A lot of the planning is about the things you're putting in place, the systems you're building, the objectives that you have for yourself. Um, and either if you've completed them all, great, but that leads to something else. But most likely it's because you don't have a set. You were talking about goals and targets for the number of people you talk to, but what is it in your planning that you want to start doing? This, especially in October, is that time of year where if you haven't started thinking about even your annual planning for next year, like what better time if things are slow? Historically, we've talked about December. Hey, we'll be able to get all these things and make all these changes then because things will be slower in the holiday. Well, look at this as a gift. If you're not packed with clients right now, this is a better time to be putting plans together for your
yeah.
business.
Mhm. And with that also budget stuff, I think a lot of us find it hard to go back and review, okay, what did I spend this year? I don't have time to go through all my credit card statements and look through all that stuff. That's another piece of the annual planning that you can get under wraps, and also maybe identify some things that you're spending money on right now that's really a big waste of time. Like, how many of us have signed up for monthly accounts on various things that we're not using right now? So maybe you can look through that and save some money there too.
Well, that's it. It's this, like you said, is an opportunity, right? When things are quiet, you have the ability, I mean, planning with looking forward and evaluating where the year is to this point, where your business has been going and where it's gone well, gone bad. These are all the elements of being able to better put your business together and set it up for success. So, financial, definitely, like you said, is a huge thing. Part of budgeting needs to be identifying what you've done to this point and finding efficiencies, finding deficiencies. What is it that you intended to do but didn't? Does that fit into where you can be planning things going forward? I think from a budget perspective, um, yeah, it's definitely in a market. If you have been having a less or a below average year, maybe you're of the mindset that you need to find places to save. Um, but at the same time, have you been spending your money in the right places? And are there places you need to invest as well? And a lot of us fall into that trap where, and it's understandable, if not as much money is coming in that you had banked on, it's very hard to wrap your mind around spending on anything. But I guarantee you'll be able to find efficiencies in places you've spent that you shouldn't need to, and places you probably could have spent that you didn't, and it's a good time for you to take a step back and look at that.
Yeah. Another one is knowledge, just around, first of all, the market. Obviously, you got to keep yourself in the game, whether you're going out and seeing homes, not with clients, but just to preview them, get a sense of pricing, activity, looking at the stats, looking at what's coming out every morning, looking at the sales, all those kinds of things, is really important to keep your mind, obviously, like the knowledge as high as possible. And also for myself, podcasts and audiobooks, I find that those are great ways to just spring an idea that, I hadn't thought about before, whether it's, maybe a video idea I want to do, or an email I want to send out to my client base, or a conversation I want to have. Like, it really kind of gets you into a different set of um, thoughts, I think, because you're always in your head, or we're always, a lot too much in our heads. And so when you can kind of get different ideas from different places, it can really be helpful.
And there's, I mean, if you're, especially if you're where a lot of our listeners are in Ontario, but I'm sure everywhere, there's constantly change and flux in the real estate market,
Yeah.
especially. The rules are changing in our market very significantly in December. If you haven't yet equipped yourself for change that's coming,
Hmm.
it serves you well above all else to be knowledgeable about the business that we're in. Like, that's kind of a fundamental part of your business. But it also fuels how you can leverage that and use that to further your own business and to educate other people, because that's a big part of what our job is. And you can't teach your clients or your colleagues if you don't understand the material yourself. And so it's not just about regulations, it's about the economy, it's about statistics, it's about trends, um,
Yep.
whatever it is and where your business focuses, that's big. And that ties into another thing, that if you're not doing it or if you're not consistent with it, what better time to start amassing and putting together more content for whatever your content strategy is. Um, if you're batching video, if you're batching podcast episodes, if you're doing features of neighborhoods, putting collateral together like booklets or whatever. I mean, these things take time, they take planning, they take focus. And I know for me, and I think for you, it's a lot harder to do, especially the larger scale things, when you're doing them 10 minutes at a time, piecemeal, because you're so busy with everything else,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
But if you've got a half a day to put your head down and start and finish something, or multiple things, again, this leaves you ending your days feeling fulfilled, feeling like you've been moving the needle for your business, which does energize you to keep going and make you feel a little bit more positive about the direction that your business is going in, instead of just saying, shit, what did I do today? Another day gone, another day with no clients, phone hasn't rang, you
Yeah.
know, what do I do? Instead of saying, man, I've got all this stuff that's ready to go out now, that I can leverage, that I can plan around. I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah. And I'd say, you want to pick one or two things at the beginning of the day that you feel like will complete your day, that will move you in the right direction. So, what are those things? Identify those at the beginning of the day. Work on getting those done as soon as possible in your day, because we tend to kind of push those off for other random admin type tasks. Get them done, and then you've come out of your day feeling a lot better. And from the video and content perspective, that also helps strengthen your knowledge of the market, of current issues in the real estate industry. It's one thing to read about it, but to teach somebody else through producing content, whether it's just a post or a video, it just elevates your knowledge of that subject even more. I found that myself. There's so much value in just creating video so that you can basically teach yourself and feel comfortable teaching other people. And when you're able to teach other people, that's when you have such a great grasp of that topic. And so many times I've had clients ask me a question very similar to a video I've done, and like I can just be like answer it so succinctly because I've had that opportunity to teach other people through video.
And that's a great little connection to our partner, which I haven't mentioned in this episode, but very quickly, for those of you who didn't hear last week, we've got a brand new partner of the podcast, Roll a Video. If you don't know where to start, how to make a video that looks good, um, we've been really happy to partner with an app out of the States that's just coming into Canada. There's a link in the liner notes for you to take a free trial, but it basically is an app that allows you to put together your own videos professionally. It's AI powered. What isn't these days? Everything's AI powered. Um, it's AI powered. It'll basically put together the storyboard, the templates, and all of that, and make it social media ready so that you can put together videos that you might not have known you were able to do with your
Yeah,
phone. So give
exactly.
that a click, and we're really happy to be partnered with them. And with that, yes, make those videos, whether or not you're using that app. Um, we're obviously huge advocates of putting that out there in content. But this is, again, this is the time. I think people look at things glass half empty or glass half full. And just because you're not working with clients doesn't mean there's not a shopping list of things that you should and can be spending your time on. I think this is that time where you've made excuses for yourself that you don't have the time to do things. And that includes personal stuff as well. I really squeaked at the beginning of that sentence, but that includes, if there's, a family that you've wanted to spend time with, if there's things you've wanted to do to catch up on your own personal stuff, I mean, work that into your plan. But again, plan things out now. You've got the ability to sit down also for a half an hour and plan out your next day, plan out what's coming up in the week ahead. I think if there's one thing that's going to be constant if things are slower in your business, it's that you've got basically no excuse to put things together now and get things done that you've been making excuses for, right? Time has opened up. And I mean, we've only outlined maybe half a dozen or whatever, 8, 10 different things that are big ticket items you can be focusing on. But it's a long list. And if it's moving your business forward and it's something you had planned for this year that maybe you haven't done, um, now's the time.
Mhm. I've got a few quick more, so I'll just name them
No,
off
no, keep
quickly
adding,
because I know
keep
we want
adding.
to wrap this up soon. But yeah, definitely think about what it is that you need in your business when you're busy. And a lot of times it's systems. A lot of times it's drip campaigns. It's how do I like bring on or onboard a new client? Like, what are the things that I'd like to have more automated so it's easier when I do become busy? So, kind of just sit down and list out some more bigger projects that you can then break down and work on over the coming weeks. That would be really helpful. And that also includes your CRM. The amount of people that I talk to, that I hear on, like, I read on Facebook groups asking, what CRM do you use? It's a very, very common question. And a lot of people have a CRM, and a lot of people don't use it because they haven't taken the time to figure out how it works, versus just jumping to another one because they think this one will save them time and miraculously just work for them without you having to put the knowledge and the time into learning how the system works. If you have a CRM, don't go find another one. Take some of the, I'm sure most of them have training videos. Take one of those a day to learn how to use your system properly. I want people to stop jumping from CRM to CRM because all of the ones I've used are very similar. You just have to learn how to use them.
It's the system's equivalent of the valley of despair is what it is.
Absolutely.
Something
Yeah.
gets hard and you get wooed by something that seems easier, but it's the same bloody thing.
Yeah.
And it's starting you from scratch. Don't go 25% on anything that you're doing.
Mhm.
Go 100%. And if when you've gone 100%, it's not for you, I mean, to me, I think you didn't do your research properly up front. Like we talk about that. If you're picking a CRM, when you pick it, know what you're picking. Listen to our CRM episode to hear about that. But like you said, when it comes to CRM, almost all of these systems do the exact same thing in very minor different ways. You'll be able to find a way to make it work for you if you just take the time.
Yeah, and I can understand if your business is very high level and you need specific things in there that will kind of take you to a higher level, but most of us are in the same range of just like we just need the basics working for us. So definitely do that. And one more thing, and then I'll shut up. Um, when
Going,
you
keep
when you
going.
do have a listing, like right now, we might all have listings that are a lot quieter, that are sitting there, and again, it goes back to doing what's in your control. You can't force somebody to book a showing. You can't make an agent call up and have a client that's interested. But what you can do is put the advertisements out there, reach out to people personally, keep your clients updated. Like if you're doing one or two tasks or two diff- two different things that you can push that listing out there on a daily basis, then you've done your job, in my opinion. And I think every time I think to that, like what's in my control, I end up seeing results from it. But we tend to shy away from our clients when their listings aren't getting the activity that we hope for. And we you can't do that. You have to be out front dealing with it and doing what you can to get that listing the exposure it needs.
And that's really a good point with listings and with anything you put out there. I can remember a time earlier on where things would go out and whatever, you're judging by the reaction it gets or whatever, and it gets discouraging when it doesn't get the reaction you were hoping for.
Yeah.
My mindset has changed now to if I put something out that has a deliberate purpose and it's going to the right people, then I actually feel good about it and it energizes me regardless of how many thumbs up and hearts and comments and
Yeah.
shares it gets because you're doing it for a reason that
Mhm.
isn't reaction and engagement. Obviously, that's a nice byproduct, but the reason is what gets you there. And also, at the risk of going too long here, one more thing that's kind of a theme to this as well. And I think there's theme to all this, which is kind of planning, creation, knowledge and all that. But I want to add research to that. And I don't mean research from a learning knowledge perspective, but just you have the time now to properly evaluate what you're going to do, right? And I know when we talk about planning, that's part of that, but I don't know that we spend enough time telling people and explaining the fact that, CRM is a good example. Like if you don't have a CRM system, the advice is not go get a CRM system and take all the tutorials before you've taken the time to establish your needs and what's going to meet that. Um, the same goes with if you want to start getting content out there, take a step back and establish what you're trying to do, who you're trying to reach, what the best platforms are, how best to make it work, and if it's within, your comfort level for your business. So take the time to really just consume and then share in ways that support your business, and you're going to feel good about yourself, I think, and your business will feel good about you, and everyone around you will love you, and the world will be a better place.
That's right. All right, we have an accountability call to get to, so we are going to head out. But thanks for listening, guys, and we will see you next week.
Later.
Level up, level up, level up.